Give me the lumber.
I think you want to hit the 2-iron, boss.
Said I want the big dog.
I know I hit it into the water.
Well, why do they even have one if you're not supposed to hit it there?
Because it's fun! We're having fun!
Yeah. I've been golfing all my life. I eat golf. I sleep golf. My wife get mad at me. All I do is golf.
We're waiting.
Welcome back to the Back T Boys podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tim. We've got John and Thomas with me here. Fellas, how we doing?
Howdy.
Oh, crushing it, as always.
As always, absolutely psyched to be here with you guys. And it is Open Championship week, so make sure you follow the Back T Boys on Twitter for all kinds of content there. Instagram, YouTube, check it all out. Follow us, subscribe, like, comment, retweet, forward. I don't think I missed any.
You could like CC
I think that's more
an email
You could add to your
an
story.
email link or a hyperlink. You could say.
Share with people. That would be great for us. It's a huge help, and it helps this podcast get out there. So
Those cups connected by twine.
yep, any sort of social connection between people,
Yeah, that'll
online
work.
or off, would be great to check out Back to You Boys, specifically on social media. Wherever you're listening to this, whether it's YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, if you can go ahead and rate, comment on the episode, it's a huge help for the algorithms and everything. And we want to hear from you. So make sure you comment any questions you have. You can also send those over to us on DMs on Twitter or Instagram. Send us your questions for future episodes, questions for future guests we may have on, any questions you may have. As always, this podcast is brought to you by Pinned Golf and the new Prism Plus rangefinder. The boys this weekend were out at the 1757 member guest. We were using plenty of the Pinned Prism Plus rangefinder. Had the boys dialed in. The Pinned Dart 2 speakers were rocking.
Yep.
So make sure you go check those out on pinnedgolf.com. Rangefinders are amazing. They pick up the target quick. Locks onto the target you want, doesn't get any of the trees in the background. It's a great rangefinder. Check it out at pinnedgolf.com. They have a bunch of colors. And use code BACKTBoysPod at checkout for $25 off of Prism Plus and 15% off any of the speakers or anything else. So use code BACKTBoysPod at pinnedgolf.com. So I think we should probably start with a member guest.
What a time that was.
So this past weekend, all three Back T Boys hosted one of our buddies at the 1757 member guest. We got a lot of content out of it, a lot of video,
a lot of free beer.
We'll be having a more in-depth dive on a YouTube video that should be coming out here in the next few weeks that we're working on.
What were those iced teas though? Not the beer.
Surfsides.
Oh,
Surfsides.
They're so good.
Yeah, fantastic.
Actually, can we talk about
About
the drink
100 of
selection
them.
for a second?
Absolutely,
There was some great stuff. So, did you guys have any of the Smash?
Yeah,
orange.
those are very good.
Yeah, so this is for you listeners out there. I don't know if how widely available it is. It's Devil's Backbone Brewery or Distilling Company, sorry, and they make these 7.5% vodka mixes with orange, with grape. That was fantastic. You guys, I mean, give a plug to the Surfsides real quick.
Yeah,
right?
I absolutely hammered Surfsides all weekend. I drank so many of them, I really didn't want to drink beer, which is weird for me. But it was so hot and they were so refreshing.
Yeah, that's exactly what did it. Is the fact that it wasn't like a heavy beer. It was just like a refreshing drink.
Yeah.
This isn't a sponsorship, but it's like almost like a grown up, not Mike's Hard, Twisted Tea.
Yeah.
Like an adult Twisted Tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that.
And man, they have the regular iced tea, the peach iced tea. I like the half and halves the most. The kind of Arnold Palmer vibe was.
Yeah, I think I did strictly half and halves.
Those were good.
They're very light and airy, I will say. Like,
but 1757 did a great job having a lot of drinks around, except in the front nine. The front nine lacked a little bit, but we'll let
There was one round that me and Mike desperately, well, Mike wasn't drinking, but I desperately needed a drink. I think we had lost almost every hole, and we didn't see the cart girl once.
Yeah, that was. There were a few times they needed 2 out there for the memory.
It is crazy how that cart girl probably doesn't know that she affected the game and the match and the outcome of so many players.
We might have caught up to you guys.
You guys might have actually had a chance. Yeah.
But the boys had an absolute blast. There was practice round Thursday with a par 3 challenge afterwards. 3 matches on Friday, 2 matches on Sunday. The shootout after that, which I had a lot of, I mean, I obviously wanted to be in the shootout. Gaz and I didn't play well enough to get in the shootout, but just driving around, following everyone drinking was super fun.
It was a blast, and I had one moment there on the first tee box. I'm standing with one of the guys who work there, one of the cart guys, and we're both looking for this ball, and we're like, you see it? No, and it lands right in between us. Next ball comes in, rattles around the cart that I had just left. Ends up in the cup holder, and I guess they ended up taking that ball because another guy was about 5 feet in front of us in the rough. Yeah. But just rattled right around and stuck like something you'd see on a tour.
Close call.
I can't believe Mike's phone was in there and nothing happened.
Yeah, it didn't break. It was but that was like one of the most fun moments of the tournament for me, at least. Was just going around with everyone and watching these guys play.
Yeah, John kicked out his windshield during the.
During
this.
I gave it a good strong kick. Just didn't want to deal with having it in there. Seems to have been removable, so I think I'll end up okay. Our names were on the front of the cart, so they'll know who to charge if they need to charge repairs. But enjoy it. Look forward to hearing some more of those stories in the coming weeks.
On the YouTube video, there's more on windshield gate. There's belt gate. There's lots of things.
The actual golf too,
There's lots of things that are going to talk about. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and the social medias to see when that drops, and it'll be a pretty good one. But boys, between our last episode, some big news in the world of golf came out about my favorite sporting event in the world, the Ryder Cup. And Keegan Bradley was named the 2025 Ryder Cup captain for the American squad.
Deserving.
Very deserving after Zach Johnson left him off the team a year ago. Everyone saw, anyone who watched Full Swing or paid attention to the whole drama last year, Zach Johnson left Keegan Bradley off the team in favor of some guys who weren't playing that as well in Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth. A lot of people believe because he was closer with Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth personally. And I just think this is amazing for Keegan Bradley and amazing for the American Ryder Cup team.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I'm also excited just to see how he puts his team together now that he is in charge. But it's great for him because he's playing some great golf, and he's deserving of it, being one of sort of the vets in the American side of things right now. So it'll be cool to see him with all the guys around him captaining that team.
Younger captain too. Love seeing that. And there were reports that a few other guys were asked before Keegan, including Tiger, and all turned down this captain's role. Not sure exactly why, but couldn't be more excited for Keegan Bradley. I think good things are to come for the American team in 2025 under his leadership. He said he is going to take guys from both LIV and the PGA. He just wants to put the best squad together, and I think that's important, and especially after the disappointment we had in Italy last year with Zach Johnson's leadership. I think we're hopefully in for some good things with Team USA next year.
I do think being a captain on the Ryder Cup team feels kind of like a kiss of death to your career in a way.
It is kind of a lifetime achievement award.
There is something about that, and I almost wonder if that factors at all into Tiger's decision not to captain. I did just pick up an article here that he's explaining that he's got too much going on. Like, he's so involved with the PGA and the players group, and also the golf league premiering next year. I mean, it does make sense. He's a busy guy.
And it won't be his last time he gets offered it either.
Exactly.
He will captain a Ryder Cup team whenever he wants it.
Exactly.
But shouts out to Keegan Bradley. I know Kenny is pretty close with Keegan through all the stuff he went through, and hopefully the Backseat Boys can get some insider
Inside the
information
ropes,
from our boy Kenny and from Keegan. But we couldn't be more excited. Congratulations to Keegan, and I guess we still have a President's Cup between now and then, but I can't wait for that. I think the Backseat Boys have to go. It's only at Bethpage. It's only 2025. It's a 3-hour drive away. I think we got to go.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, no, I think we do have to go.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer.
I think we'll have to get some coverage out there. We'll send people out in the field.
Yeah. By people, he means us.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But can't wait for that. And but last week, Genesis Scottish Open. Always a cool event leading up to the British. It's fun to see links golf, even just 1 week before the British Open. We did get a little bit of drama with Robert McIntyre at the end there.
Yeah, he long-time listeners will understand that I'm a big McIntyre backer. Big fan of him. I think he deserved the win in the way that he played, and not so much of a controversy. I think it's more just the way that it looked on TV just felt a little bit weird. He's standing in deep fescue. He takes this very interesting practice swing that 100% looked like he was putting full power into it. Yeah, it takes a pelt, and then decides that his stance is on a sprinkler head and calls over a rules official to confirm, and he ends up getting a free drop. There's a sprinkler head in the fescue for some reason. He gets a free drop and then hits an absolute stunner of a 250-yard shot right into the green and secures the win with a long putt, I might add. So he fully deserves everything that he had coming to him, but just a little bit of a funny ending. To that.
And not taking anything away from him, he says that the divot from the practice swing revealed a sprinkler head that wasn't visible before the divot was taken. I mean, there was a rules official there, so clearly it was done by the book.
Yeah.
I think the bigger problem people might have is with the rule, but I think it was handled properly.
That's so lucky that his swing and miss revealed a sprinkler head all of a sudden that he could take relief from.
I just can't believe you'd find a sprinkler head over there. In the fescue.
Yeah.
I can barely find my ball, and that's bright white, and you found a sprinkler head in there.
You would think that they would be better at just growing invasive species that don't fucking need water.
I don't know, I'm happy for him that he ended up winning, because his second win, I think he won one earlier a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
It's technically a European Tour event, but
yeah, the DP Tour. But exciting for him going into a big week ahead.
Yeah, I mean this pod is big fans of Robert McIntyre. I think that's been clear. John takes bets on him almost anytime he's in the field. But it is a big week this week. Going into the Open Championship, I know this is one of Thomas's favorite events. Loves watching links golf. I mean, who doesn't love watching links golf? It's just so different than what we get to see every week on the tour, and it really does bring something out of you. Just the history of the game is there, and it's just so exciting to watch.
Tim, these courses are easier than the Masters in November. Come on. Let's face it. There aren't that
the
many.
Masters in November. They're easier than the Masters than Augusta in April.
How can you flip flop so hard
I'm not
between the U.S. Open needing to be the most challenging test in golf, and all of a sudden these links courses are just about the history? They're just so
they
fun.
were interesting.
They are interesting.
No, my whole take is that all these tournaments have identities.
They do,
and their needs, and the British Opens is the nod to the old country and the nod to the history of the game.
Yeah.
Do I think that's the fullest test of golf when the wind is not blowing? No. But if the wind is blowing and the weather's up, it is a true test of golf.
Yeah, and I think you were saying that, right? Like the weather this weekend might get a little bit testy.
Yeah, which is always fun to see, because when these courses, when the wind gets up and it starts raining, are some of the hardest tests in golf, and no one would disagree with that. They are just brutal when there's a 25-mile-an-hour wind off the ocean.
Yeah,
well, that's why I love it. It's like when these guys are hitting their shots, if you leave anything up in the air or anything spinny, it's going like 60 yards in a different direction, And it's just so different and so fun to
Yeah.
watch, and that's why it's 100 times better than any U.S. Open. But
That Pinehurst US Open, but
well, we'll have to wait and see what Royal Troon has
I
for
mean,
us.
that was when we were out at Bandon and we played Sheep Ranch. That really felt U.S. Open. Because in the back nine, that wind got up, and like you had to hit a 6-iron from 120 yards.
U.S. Opening?
British Opening. I'm sorry,
Okay.
British Opening.
Yeah. No, and I felt that even on Bandon our first day, with all the wind kicking in our face. Yeah, I can't wait to see how this all turns out with all the best players there, especially. It's going to be great.
Yeah, but the event will start on Thursday. It is going back to Royal Troon, which has hosted some absolutely amazing championships in the past. Going back to 2016, whether it's the Phil Henrik Stenson, there's just been some amazing events. They've hosted, I think it's eight Open Championships now, dating all the way back to 1923. While looking at the winning shares, anyone, do you want to guess what the winner got for winning the 1923 Open Championship?
A handshake.
12 shekels.
A coupon book to local businesses.
75 pounds.
Of what? 75 pounds of potatoes? Wasn't there a famine back then?
75 British pounds.
Pounds sterling.
Yes.
Great.
And this year's winner gets 3.2 or some
3.2 pounds?
3.2 million.
It's going down.
They're on metric now, I think.
They're not on the euro.
Yeah, they're certainly not on the euro.
But it has put together some absolutely phenomenal events. There's just a great history of the Royal Troon, whether it's the postage stamp hole, Black Rock House, or any of the great battles that have been there. John, maybe you want to talk a little bit about 2016 being the Big Phil guy.
Yeah, that was hard to watch. He had the chance to do a wire-to-wire finish, led through first round and the second round, and then Henrik comes out of absolutely nowhere. The finishing scores for that tournament: first place Henrik -20, second place Phil -17.
Yeah, they took it low.
Third place, JB Holmes -6.
Yeah.
And so what that is telling me is that Phil's -17 on the weekend is going to win any other weekend that Henrik Stenson doesn't have the best weekend.
Yeah,
of his
two
life
guys
right now.
went ballistic, and that's
Yeah.
really what happened that week.
Yeah.
I mean, if at the start of that Sunday you had told everybody that Phil was going to shoot a bogey 365, you'd say there's no way that he
Right.
loses.
Right.
But Henrik goes out there and drops a 63 to win and beat third place JB Holmes by 14 shots.
Yeah.
I remember that battle. I remember that battle like it was yesterday. I remember we were playing golf when that one got decided.
Oh,
Golf
yeah.
Country Club, we were on the 10th hole.
Really?
I remember it so
Oh,
vividly.
so that is quite vivid, actually.
But that battle at Troon had some just iconic moments of Phil and Henrik battling.
It was tough, too. I'm looking at the card and reminding myself now, like, Phil had a bogey-free round.
Yeah.
And
65.
Henrik had 2 bogeys and then, like, a bazillion birdies. Like, he was just unreal.
Yeah, and I think they both birdied the postage stamp hole with 2. I think they both stuck it with inside like 2.5 feet or something, if I remember right.
Oh, man.
It was
just
incredible.
a duel. Yeah,
It was a classic duel, and obviously Troon's known for the postage stamp hole. One of the best par 3s in golf, I think, and one of the best short par 3s in golf. A lot of the ones you see now at majors are pushing 200, if not over 200. With the 8th hole at Troon, you're at 123 yards downhill, but it still manages to play super difficult. And in most, I think in 2016, it played over par, which for a 123
that
yard
is
hole
impressive.
is impressive
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's rated though as the easiest hole in the course.
for amateur play.
Yeah, and I think that just thinking about it, like, if you have, with that green being so thin and straight on, if you have any crosswind at all, it all of a sudden becomes like one of the hardest holes you've ever seen.
Yeah, and then you got the bunkers all around.
All the bunkers. Yeah, and it's something that I would. If you stepped up to that and there was no wind, I'd be like, I can play on tour. Like, this is just going to 125 yards away downhill. Yeah, sure. I could hit this green.
And that's a touch shot for the pros, too, which may actually make a difference. Because
Yeah.
that type of touch shot, wow factoring in the wind, wow factoring in the slope, the size of the green, the slope of the green, like, that's too much. I would want to be hitting a 7-iron into that green, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like a full
swing.
shot, yeah. But that's one of those that, like, makes you think, like, it doesn't, back to all these courses getting longer and longer, it doesn't have to be that way. Where they can still be set up extremely difficult, with just short yardages and some environment that really kicks your ass.
And I think that point, Thomas, is a great one, and it really is what a lot of these U.S. Open, sorry, I keep saying U.S. Open, British Open courses are about, where these courses undefended by wind are not that difficult.
Yeah.
But you get wind going, and a 123-yard par 3 becomes just impossible.
Yeah.
And it's always fun to watch, and it's...
It also gives you that false sense of, like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, they're stepping up and hitting. So they're not hitting, a sand wedge.
Yeah, or you're honestly taking putter from 50 yards out on the fairway or something, because it's so flat.
Yeah, but so anyone watching, it's like almost, I think that's another reason I like it. It's like I can see myself not having to bomb it 300 yards just to get onto the fairway, with some of these courses when you're watching the Open.
Yeah. And then another thing that people are probably going to see a lot this week at Troon, and they'll probably make a pretty big deal about, is what most people, or a lot of people, call the best house in golf. It's Black Rock House, which is actually on property at Troon. It's in the middle between, I think it's the 16th green next to the 17th tee, and on the other side is the 3rd tee and the 2nd green.
It's absurd.
It's absurd. I'm sure they'll show it during the week. It is up for sale.
Really?
Yeah, which I don't know why the course doesn't buy it.
I was gonna say.
Well, one of the problems I was reading about why it was so hard is it is actually a duplex. So like one side will go for sale, and so it's hard for them to buy the whole thing.
They gotta have some thick windows, I would assume.
Yeah, but it is a very cool little spot. It's stuck in between a bunch of tees and greens, off a private road that runs down there, and someone's just going to be living there during the Open Championship. Like, that's the coolest thing.
Best place to live, perhaps.
It's why they call it the best house in golf. Like,
You have to think they get out there and hit some off the tee boxes every now and again, right? Or do they just have a membership?
Do you think they get tickets? Like, do they get free tickets?
I mean, I don't know how you could keep them out.
Yeah.
What if they just built a gate in front of the house?
On the driveway? Yeah. Boarded up the driveway?
I'm pretty sure it's a fire hazard.
You have to pay to leave. Yeah.
You have to pay to leave your own home.
It gives me vibes like from the greatest game ever played.
It does.
Where it's like, like this was some family home at one point or something, and then maybe the golf course was built around it or something.
Yeah, so what I could get from reading back, there's been some great articles on it.
Yeah, what's the history?
So it's been there since kind of the beginning of Troon, and it was...
The town or the course?
The course. The course. True, because it is in the town of Troon. Good point, Thomas. Someone built it when it was only 12 holes, so it wasn't necessarily in the middle of everything. And the course bought some surrounding land and built the holes around it, and this family that owned it at the time refused to sell and refused to sell and refused to sell, and it just has gone on like that, and the owners have never been willing to sell the entire lot to the club.
And now it's iconic.
And honestly, even if the club bought it, I don't think they'd want to tear it down.
No.
Because it's just such part of Troon's DNA. I'm sure they'll show it 1,000 times on the broadcast.
It's the only thing that makes... Now, I was going to say something a little too cynical, but I will say these links courses all run together for me a little bit. And so they're probably going to play up the thing that makes this, oh yes, Troon, the one with the house, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Links golf is so great to be on the ground playing there. I think on TV they can tend to run together. And
Yeah, I think that's right.
unless
I
it's
think
St.
that's right.
Andrews or unless it's one of the super iconic ones that everyone knows, it can run together. I do think it's a great golf course. I think it's going to create some great drama this week.
Yeah, who's ready for some bunkers?
Some sod bunkers, some layered sod bunkers.
Mm.
There's nothing like some British Open pot bunkers. There's going to be some.
Should create some drama, like
it
you said.
certainly should. It certainly will. There's nothing like these guys hitting a pretty good tee shot. It catches a bunker and they're up against the lip and they have to hit sideways. It can create some drama coming down the stretch. Really, no one's ever out of it.
Speaking of drama coming down the stretch, Rory from the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Can he actually get back on the white? So he did he play? He hasn't played since.
He played last
Played
week.
last
He
week.
played Genesis.
I think he was in 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had an
Okay.
all right time.
My answer is absolutely not.
Absolutely.
I think the U.S. Open at Pinehurst has cursed Rory. I do not believe he will win a major again.
Rory tied for 4th
4th. Okay.
at the Scottish.
I do not believe he's a good enough putter, and I do not believe he'll win a major again.
All right. You heard it here first.
That's the
I mean,
take.
does anyone disagree?
I don't think he's done completely, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the running, but I don't see him winning this weekend.
He's not. Yeah, he's not like ancient. like,
No, he's not ancient.
That's not his last chance. You know,
I just
he's
think
not.
he has
He's also
demons.
not injury plagued. I think that his mental is a little bit weird, but even just the fact that he went such a long stretch while still being the top of everyone's minds and not playing that well, I think is impressive. And he has absolutely made a resurgence in the last few years, to the point where he's actually, playing good golf again, not just a name that we all know.
I mean, he played great in that stretch in PGA Tour events. I mean, it's just majors. He always, since 2014 when he went on that run early, he just hasn't been able to put it together, and he's gotten close. And I think that that back nine at Pinehurst is going to stick with him. A lot like that back nine where he shot 41 at Augusta and blew that lead has stuck with him there.
I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense that when you say stuck with him, like, I think that the next time he gets put in a high pressure situation, that will be on his mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he shot for his 4th place, he shot -2 in the final round. He wasn't in the hunt. He wasn't anywhere near it. He didn't have to have that pressure. He played good golf.
Now, if we were having a conversation right now of who's going to go win the Memorial next year, Rory would be one of the first names I'd say. I just
Really?
don't think he can get it done in majors anymore. I really don't. I think this is going to haunt him for years. I hope I'm wrong. I like watching Rory be up there, but
I do too.
I just don't know how it's going to go.
Rory's currently sitting at 2nd favorite. We'll get to our bets in a bit, but hey, it seems like Vegas has still got some hope for him.
Yeah.
So.
The Open Championship has been recently kind of a first-time major winner's paradise. The last 5 of the last 7 winners have been first-time major winners.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if that trend is something we'll see continue here
Yes.
at Troon. You think so?
Absolutely. I think that I guess I just get the sense that links golf is a lot of like young players golf. Like that's just like, to defeat a course at the U.S. Open or to defeat the Masters, like it feels like you need to have this like real combination of skill, wisdom, thinking, cunning, like all this stuff. And for links golf, you kind of just need to have feel and instincts. You kind of just play the wind. You get creative with your shots. Or just try new things and end up on top. So I think yes. And I know who it is, by the way, but we'll save it for the bet section.
I think the unpredictability.
Can I bet on your bet?
What is it?
Oberg?
No.
Oh.
I think the unpredictability.
Where's my money?
Of links golf.
You're give me 75 pounds.
3.2.
3.2 pounds.
The unpredictability of links golf tends to help some of these younger guys who've
Yeah.
never won.
That's a great point.
where they go out a lot of times not afraid of the wind, not overthinking, it's just swinging, and they get lucky.
Yeah.
And I think that can kind of help some of these younger guys who haven't won one.
Yeah, because when you think about it, it is so much luck when you're dealing with wind. Like, you don't have a sensor like on Tiger Woods' PGA Tour of like, this is how fast the wind is blowing and how consistently it's blowing at every level of the altitude of your ball and all that type of thing. You just need to go out there and you need to hit it and feel it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we could absolutely see
An upset. Someone you don't expect. We get that a lot, and I think we'll have some awesome golf to watch this week. The R&A did an amazing job with the groupings here. Any of them catch your eyes when you saw them here, fellas? I think
my favorite one, 9:59 a.m. Shane Lowry, Cam Smith, and Matthew Fitzpatrick.
That's
I think that's a really fun group, where you have a live guy, Shane Lowry, who's just built for this, and then Fitzpatrick, who's a young up and comer.
Yeah, I obviously love the Tiger, Xander, Cantlay group. I think that's a good one. I would love to see some sparks out of the 10-10 group with Cam Young, Scotty Scheffler, and Jordan Spieth. I would love to see Jordan Spieth get somewhere and get something going, especially playing with Scotty, get some competitive juices flowing and try to get down there. And even if it's just for Thursday or Friday, get into something. But there are definitely some...
Jason Day, Ricky Fowler, best dressed grouping with On.
Crazy.
I like the Rory Homa Hatton group is pretty good too.
And then we got your boy Phil out there with DJ.
Yeah. I don't expect that much this time from Phil. He can take a break, it's fine.
Does anyone have a least favorite group on this?
Okay, so I was about to say, if you take 2 out of these 3 names, I'd be glued to this tee time. I'd be stoked to be watching. Sahith Theegala and Victor Hovland playing together with Brian Harmon.
No.
If you want to spend your entire time watching a man at a dress waggling his club, you know which group to watch.
I'm going to take the 3:25 a.m. starting time as the worst.
Oof.
Zach Johnson, Austin Igrot, and Toberg Olsen. Talk about a group I couldn't care less about.
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
That is gross.
That is just a disgusting group. They couldn't mix it up a little bit. I guess put 3 boring guys together and TV just never has to pay attention to them.
Yeah, they do sort of have them going out in shifts with like the Finau, Pavon, Henley, Rahm, Fleetwood, McIntyre.
John Daly, I didn't know he was playing.
They're all going out in the early morning, and then about 5 hours later, you get sort of the next wave of those big names.
They switch the next day. The Oberg, Bryson, Tom Kim one's a pretty good group too, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
But some awesome groups out there. And all this Open Championship talk really got me thinking about the history of golf and just kind of...
You're always on the history.
I'm always on the history of golf. I love the history. I love reading about the history. I just love old golf stuff. And it really, what it brought me back to was a question for you two. The first Open Championship was held in 1860. It was held at Prestwick Golf Club, which is still open and you can still go play today. But if you had your bag right now, your bag and balls, and you were dropped in 1860. You were dropped in 1860.
With what again?
With your golf bag and golf ball.
Oh, okay.
Could you then win the 1860 Open Championship? So for reference, I'll just put this out here. The original Open was played on a 12-hole track. They didn't list the pars, but I kind of calculated the par based off the distance. The 12 holes were par 44.
Okay.
Playing about 3,800 yards.
Okay.
12 holes. And they averaged the winner averaged about 12 over on 12
12 over on 12 holes. So that's bogey golf.
That's bogey golf. in Scottish wind. You have to wear the clothes of the time. That is
Clothes.
that is the only stipulation.
Okay. Your own bag and balls, someone else's clothes. Got it.
You just show up naked in 1896.
1860.
1860, sorry.
It's amazing that they've been playing. There's a running athletic event that old.
That was 63 years before the prize was 75 pounds. What the hell was the prize in this one?
Let's find out. I'm sure.
I'm curious.
It was a belt back then. It was not the claret jug.
You got the belt.
It was a belt like
was a-
WWE.
It was a belt like WWE, and the rule was if anyone won it 3 times in a row, they got to keep it. So
what? They didn't even get to keep the freaking belt.
No.
Whose belt is this?
no,
that
so
they're
it's
loading
3. It's
out?
like you don't get to keep the clip. You bring it back after a year. If you won it 3 times in a row, you kept it for good.
I see. I see.
And it was young Tom Morris who won it 3 times in a row. So the belt was his, and that is when the claret jug was born. And those are how the original Rota courses for the Open got in it. Is they all put in money to buy the claret jug, and that's how they got in the original Rota.
Wow.
Yeah, I could win it.
I think totally.
Oh, I think no question about it.
With pretty slow greens back then, they would roll it like a 6. I think definitely.
I think even slower, don't you think?
I think probably a good back then 5 or 6s.
I think that would be the most problematic. I think I'm not all that confident in that answer when I truly think about it, because I don't know how I'd be able to roll on greens that aren't well maintained.
It was an 8-man field, 7 Scots and 1 Englishman.
And one time traveling American.
One time traveling American compete for the Open Championship belt on October 17th, 1860 in Prestwick, Scotland.
This is just a group of friends. Like
Yeah, it is.
that's not the Open
Competing for the one belt they own.
Yeah, right. It's literally 2 Tom Morrises.
It was only young Tom was not in it yet. It was won by Willie Parks Sr., who was considered the best player in the world at the time, soon to be taken over by Tom Morris Sr. Andrew Straith, Robert Andrews, Charlie Hunter, Alexander Smith, William Steele, and George Daniel Brown.
One thing you got going.
The
The one thing you got going is Tim O'Neill would fit in just fine with that list of names.
I don't know if they'd like the Irishman back in the day.
That's fair.
I think they had a problem.
Tim
with it.
McNeil is what
Yeah, I'd have to
I
add
think.
something to it.
I mean, honestly, that's pretty funny. Like, I think you could easily go and at least have a good time doing that.
I think you can get close.
Now, my question is, with that small of a field, we had 6 people all playing together this weekend. Does that mean we can just go to some random course and claim that it is the championship?
Well, if you then have 160 years following that of that tournament and it being the champion golfer
Let's
of the
do
year,
it.
probably.
We just need a really durable belt that'll last that long.
The next year the field grew to 10.
So, wait, this is easy. We only just have to host one, find 2 more people over the course of a year to come out and play again.
Kept being held up. Oh, then the field shrank to 6.
Oh my god! And you can even have a split among your friend group. You literally are allowed to just say, screw you, to half of it.
Then it jumped. Then it got big.
Uh-oh.
Willie Park won a lot, though. That's what I'm realizing from this.
I would be worried though. Like I think it would be the trying to figure out how to roll a putt on a green that's
Yeah.
cut with scissors.
I cut with goats. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't even know if it was scissors. It was
Yeah.
probably just
Such a good point.
like there's still
Just hopping around.
Aurora in Scotland. They still allow sheep to graze on the course.
Yeah.
They have little electric fences around the greens.
And you thought goose shit was bad.
But
Get ready.
the greens are impeccable apparently because they don't let them walk on it. But the course, you'll just see sheep grazing and just part of the nod to the old country we talked about from the Open Championship. But yeah, I think we could all have a pretty good chance and maybe get something done.
I love it.
Maybe wear that belt. If they ever invent time travel, I think we'll have to try it.
I'm in.
You're in? Okay. Thomas, you in? Is
Yeah,
that
I'm
what you're
going.
for?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll get back.
I'm taking that belt.
Can we bring cameras back? Can we film it and post it on Back to You Boys? You think?
No, I think only
As long
the
as
bag and balls can travel. If I recall.
You said no clothes.
Our camera fits in my bag. Can that get?
It does. I think you should get that checked out.
It's a small camera.
Big bag.
I would like to. I'm now thinking though, like what would be going through their minds when you pull out a rangefinder for the first time.
A pin Prism Plus specifically.
Oh yeah.
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 With an American flag on.
Dude, yeah. Honestly.
So this now makes me think the question: what year do you think you would start having no chance to compete in the Open Championship?
I already think it would be very difficult, like
Yeah.
truth be told, back then, because of that factor that it's just so different from anything today, regardless of if they're playing bogey golf. You said 12 over
12 holes
a day, so they were playing exactly bogey golf. Okay.
I mean, could you compete in 1900 where the winner was like, hold on, it was like 79, 77, 78, 75.
Well, no.
With your own clubs against that?
At St. Andrews.
Against some mashy?
Yeah.
Man, that's so tricky. I really like Thomas's point about the maintenance of the course itself.
No, that would definitely be tough.
Really like that.
That'd also be like some of my best rounds ever to shoot,
Yeah.
just in the 70s anyway.
Well,
so.
the course was much shorter.
Fair.
Well, I will say, even that 12-hole 3,800 course at Prestwick that you talked about, like, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's averaging over 300 yards a hole, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I did that correctly
Is it?
in my head. 3,800 yards, and yeah, so just over 300 yards a hole. That's something, you know. So
Yeah, no, it's,
especially when you have par threes in there.
you'd have to play some golf, but I think come the 1900s is when you'd start struggling to keep up.
I agree,
That's,
but I would only want to win the belt. I just want the.
you don't want to beat
1860
Harry. You don't want to beat
champion
Harry
belt.
Varden in 1900
Ooh,
at St. Andrews.
tempting at St. Andrews.
Yeah.
Tempting.
Also, not only I'm back to what they would be surprised by, but swinging a composite driver at the ball.
Yeah, totally.
I think the sound they would just collapse on the spot.
Yeah, 100%. It would be an intimidation factor for sure.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I mean, they'd be shocked by a lot.
Yeah, well, a naked man just time traveled with a golf
One of the
bag.
first
Yeah,
teams.
and was
I mean,
like, "Hey,
steel shafts,
hey,
so-
can I borrow some clothes?"
Can you point me to a tailor, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting question. I think it would depend on the weather. I think it would depend on a lot, and we don't know what the weather was for that Open Championship either.
Yeah.
But I think there's a chance we do take that belt, and I would like to see us take that.
Well, let's talk about
Do we get into modern,
John taking the belt of betting this week.
So let's get into some modern day Open Championship here. Before we do, this segment as always brought to you by State of Mind Golf. They make awesome kind of golf streetwear stuff with a state license plate that says golf. Hoodies, crew necks, long sleeve t-shirts. Go on, check them out. Get yourself something for your state your siblings live in, parents live in, whatever. And use code BACKTBoysPod at checkout for 15% off. So, as always, Thomas is still banned from taking Scotty Scheffler. That is
what a shame.
that is by decree. So, who wants to start us off here, fellas?
I can start.
Crush it.
So I'm taking Scotty Scheffler.
Nope.
No.
Block.
Shoot. You guys got me.
Okay, real talk. Do you actually think Scotty Scheffler is going to win? He's the
don't.
favorite. I don't think he's going to win this tournament.
I will have money on Scotty Scheffler.
You will? All right. Let's see how that goes.
But I'm gonna take Oberg to win if we're going off of the new guys winning this stuff. I think he's been in the running in these, and we'll see. I mean, if it translates to the link style golf or not. But he's just a hot commodity right now, so I'm taking him to win. In terms of a top 10, I'm gonna be going down to Matt Fitzpatrick to show out over there in Europe. And
that's a great pick, by the way. I was thinking about him earlier today too. So
yeah,
I'm with you on that.
And then in terms of an underdog, dark. We're doing what was the number again? 65? Was it that high?
Yeah.
Man. All right, so we have to reconvene here.
Take Brian Harmon, you won't.
I'm not taking Brian Harmon.
Take Brian Harmon.
No one wants to see
Take
that.
Adam Scott, you won't.
I'm gonna take another newbie here who's right in the range with Minwoo Lee.
Ooh, okay.
Finally showing up. I've been kind of disappointed in him this year, in not showing up in many tournaments, let alone the majors, because I do think he is something special to prove there. So I'm going to take him as my underdog with literally no evidence saying that he should show up at all. The last thing I'll do here is you got make, miss, cut, of course. And I think I might have done this bet before, but I'm taking both your favorites to miss the cut over there in the Open.
Who, my favorites?
Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods.
What? Oh.
Just taking his anti-Tim and John.
I just don't see it happening. I don't see Tiger, obviously, doing anything once again. So, yeah, those are my bets.
Okay, John, you wanna go next, or you want me to?
I want you to go. I want you to go next.
Okay, I am gonna go. Trying to mix it up a little bit, and I'm gonna go down for my favorite, down the leaderboard a little bit further than I think people, or down the odds a little bit further than people would think I would. I'm staying on the first time major winner train. Actually, both mine. I'm staying on the first time major winner train. I'm taking Big Tony Finau.
Really?
No
way!
To win
no way!
The golf tournament at plus 45.
To win the golf tournament.
I'm taking Tony Finau to be the champion golfer of the year.
Win the golf tournament and Tony Finau have never been in the same set.
They have occasionally. Usually it's the Puerto Rico Open, but I am taking Big Tone. I would love to see him get it done. He's been playing well. He's been hanging around top 5 in the U.S. Open. Top 10 in the Masters. Played well in majors. I think this is a chance where if the wind gets blowing, he could get it done. My underdog, I don't want to take who I'm thinking of just because I take him so often. Oh, I'm changing. I'm going a different direction with my underdog. I was going to go with my typical Max Homa underdog bet. I do think he's going to do well. I'm going to go and take the 2025 United States Ryder Cup captain, Keegan Bradley, at plus 17,000 to be the champion golfer of the year. He's been playing really good golf. We talked about it earlier. I think, again, the Open Championship, weird things can happen. The wind can get blowing. Can you hang on? A guy with some experience who knows what he's doing it could help him out a little bit. I am then taking for my top 10, and this is gonna bite me in the ass, and I know it. I just know it, but I'm doing it. He had one. I don't even know if he had a good tournament. He had one good round. I'm taking Justin Thomas to top 10.
Oh,
that's horrible. I hate all your bets.
Fully back on the horse. Changed putters. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Tim lives and dies by a changed putter.
I haven't changed mine in a while, and I've been putting really well, so I'd like a little props on that, maybe.
You're not getting any from me.
Oh, thanks, man. I mean, I am putting pretty well, but...
Same here. Yeah, I have the same putter as always.
I have the same putter for the last year and a half. But yeah, I'm taking Justin Thomas to top 10. I said it was going to burn me. We'll see. And then I had done too many nationality plays. I do like those, and I'm going to kind of bring one in here, but I'm going to kind of parlay it. I am going to parlay Okay. I'm going to parlay Tiger Woods to make the cut. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't really matter what you say next because your parlay is already broken. You can say whatever you want, dude.
Tiger Woods to make the cut. Minwoo Lee to make the cut.
Yeah, pigs fly, like any of those. That's
Max
totally
Homa to
fine.
make the cut with the winner to be from the United States of America.
Okay.
And that is going to be my any other bet.
All right. So you guys want to know who's going to win the Open in Scotland the week after a Scottish player
You're not taking
won
him
the
to go back-to-back,
Scottish Open. I am taking Robert McIntyre to go back to back.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Jordan 96-97 out.
Whoa. Yes, I think that's correct. Hey, look, like he's the only Scottish player in contention as it stands, and he would fit the requirement for first-time major. And he's somebody that I've taken multiple times this year, and it hasn't quite panned out. It panned out for him last week, and you know what? He doesn't have to go very far for this next challenge, and he's probably been getting meals at home with his parents. Yeah. And I think he's ready to go. So I'm going to go Bob for that one.
Bobby.
Going with Bobby. I do still think that we're kind of sleeping on Sahith Theegala, and so I'm going to take him as... Oh, no, he's just barely not an underdog. He's at 6,000. I mean, we are sleeping on him, to be fair, so just keep that in mind. Underdog bets are a little bit tough, but I'm going to pivot to Akshay because Akshay has had such flashes of greatness this year, and he is that kind of young, rascally instincts player that can catch a break and play pretty well. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Top 10. So a little bit of a story behind this. So did you guys see the thing where his name is Gun-Take Ko? He's a South Korean player with a North Korean flag next to his name on the Open Championship and on Google for some reason.
God.
Some unclear reason. People like Google thinks he's from North Korea, and so did the leaderboard. He's not. He's from the good Korea, and I think that he might have a chance to top 10. And I'm mostly doing it for the meme and because it's plus 10,000 for him to top 10. So why not throw a couple bucks
Seeing a
on
North Korean flag on the first page of the Open Championship
is pretty wild.
Would be amazing.
I mean, I know it's probably easier for them to get into the UK than it is for them to get into the US, but still, no, that is my boy on that front. And then lastly, I actually saw kind of an interesting triple chance. I don't know if you guys are familiar with these on DraftKings. I'm pretty set on, so, you know, I've already mentioned a few names to win. And so I'm actually really curious about this Tony Finau, Tom Kim, or Adam Scott to win plus 1,700. Now, I know what I've just said about Tony.
Yeah, whoa.
I understand. But I think that he's an interesting play. I do get it. Tom Kim actually has an incredible chance, and Adam Scott played fantastically last week. And so I think it's a value bet more than a principal bet for me. That seems like good value.
Okay. I mean, I love that you went with Tony Finau. I didn't like that you bashed him when I picked him.
I mean, yeah, well, that was because you picked him.
I'd say that's fair. I really cannot stress how much I dislike a lot of your picks.
Like Robert?
Both of you.
You don't like Bob?
I don't think Bobby can get it done again.
Wow.
I love Bobby.
Wow. You don't think Gun-Take Ko can get a top 10?
No, I definitely don't think he can. That one's easy.
Dang.
I cannot wait for the Open Championship. There's nothing like the Open where it's morning golf, where you wake up, get a cup of coffee, and the leaders are already on the golf course.
Yep. Or stay up late at the craps table and the TV is still on at 4 a.m.
True,
showing some of
Open
the early
Championship
tee
golf
times.
is on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know where I pulled that example from.
No,
but just
where would
like
that
it.
come from?
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure you got some coffee ready to watch the Open, and it will be a great one. Royal Troon always puts out some really great events. So I can't wait, and we'll be together this weekend, be able to watch it, and we'll surely be in for some great golf.
Love it.
Before we get out of here, boys, any departing wise words for our listeners?
Play back.
Play it back. Periods
Usually
between
comes
each of the words.
later. But yeah, make sure you check out the Backseat Boys on social media, YouTube. Like, comment, rate, everything. Check out Pin Golf. Use code BackseatBoysPod at checkout for the Prism Plus, and of course, make sure you play it back.